Hey everybody, how are you? Hope you are well. So in this video I wanted to talk about in this video I want to talk about 6 key things I think you should consider before trying tretinoin. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Well, the first thing I want to get into is what is tretinoin. So tretinoin is a synthetic form of vitamin A. I actually didn't know it was a synthetic form. It was just when I was doing my research that I actually found out. I've always known tretinoin is a form of vitamin A, but I've just never really looked into it that deeply. So it's a form of vitamin A, and unlike retinol, that is actually a natural form of vitamin A, tretinoin is actually a synthetic form. So tretinoin and retinol, like I say, they sound very similar. You do hear those terms interchangeably, and they all are under a brand, they're all under an umbrella term called retinoids. And so we have retinol, so from the scale from weakest to strongest, we have retinol esters, e.g. retinol palmitate. Next we have retinol. Then next we have retinaldehyde, and then lastly we have tretinoin, which is retinoic acid, the pure form. So for every single step there is a form of conversion, and each form of conversion is actually trying to get to this pure retinoic acid. So for every step you lose some efficacy. So if you think of retinol palmitate, for instance, which is something that you commonly see in a lot of products that claim to have retinol in them. If you look at some of your drugstore products, especially if they are cheaper, you might see retinol palmitate, and that is basically the weakest form. So for every stage of conversion it needs to get to retinoic acid, which is the form that your skin can actually use really well, it loses a bit of itself basically. So it's the weakest form, and for like really ultra sensitive skin that might be good for you. But for somebody like me who has acne prone skin, I need, the good stuff, the strong stuff. So yeah, so from then you have retinol, and then for retinol you have different strengths. So you can start with like 0.2%. The ordinary is probably the best source for this, and the cheapest, the most affordable. So you have, I think, 0.2%, then 0.5, then 1%. I was using 1% retinol, and I didn't think it was doing enough for my acne. It was probably doing all it could in terms of wrinkles, because retinol is good for wrinkles and acne, or retinoids as an umbrella term are very good for either or. So I would have kept it if all my concerns were just for wrinkles or delaying aging, but I needed it to do more for my acne. So like I said, for every stage you have to go through conversion. So there are 2 conversions that retinol has to go through to get to retinoic acid, and so that makes it slightly weaker than retinoic acid, and of course it loses a bit of itself at every conversion stage. It is claimed that retinaldehyde, which is right between retinol and retinoic acid, is actually the best of both worlds because it's not as irritating as retinoic acid, tretinoin, and it's more effective than retinol. So you will see some like higher end products on the market that do have retinaldehyde, which again is meant to be the best of both worlds without as much irritation. So I am thinking one day I will try that, maybe as a treat to myself. But again, I've tried retinol and I've tried retinoic acid, aka tretinoin, but I haven't actually tried retinaldehyde products. In terms of how retinoids, as an umbrella term, in terms of how they work by speeding up the cell turnover in your skin. So it basically exfoliates sloughs off the dead skin cells at the top layer and brings the new skin cells to the top. So that's how you end up with, eventually you end up with baby softer skin, less texture, less acne, less hyperpigmentation, because all that stuff that's at the top is being exfoliated away over time, and then the new skin comes to the surface. So it works deeper into the pores. It works by actually unclogging your pores. So basically all the bacteria and everything else, pollutants and everything that's sunk into your pores gets flushed out. So as a result of that, sometimes a lot of people can experience something called flushing, which is basically just your skin being flushed out, your pores being flushed out, and that can last anywhere from 1 month to about 3 months, sometimes even longer depending on your skin. So that's one of the side effects of using any kind of retinol products, but mostly tretinoin. And one of the other side effects is actually drying, and that's across the board, especially with like when you start at the retinol strength. You can experience drying, flaking, itching, or just general inflammation. Other side effects include darkening of the skin, which is obviously what you don't want, and also lightening of normal skin, because depending on how your skin reacts. So what else? Oh, it also helps to regulate your sebum as well. So it does do a lot, and it's also great for wrinkles, like I said already. So it does do a lot for your skin, but it's just a matter of weighing out whether or not you want to go with the good stuff, the strong stuff, or you want to start at the bottom. And logic would suggest you should start at the bottom, because again, you don't know what your skin can handle. So in terms of the things you should consider, which is what we've come to talk about. So the first thing, this isn't in any particular order by the way, but the first thing I wanted to at least bring to your attention is to basically ask yourself if you're ready, like if you're like ready, if you're really ready, because tretinoin, aka retinoic acid, is the strongest stuff, one of the strongest things that you can put on your skin for the treatment of acne. And like I said before, it can result in flushing of the skin, which is when it actually looks like your spots, your acne, is getting worse than before it gets better. So that's a really major side effect, and you should consider that, because that can last anywhere from 1 to 3 months, and your skin just looks like it's having the worst time of its life. And obviously you need to factor in obviously going to work, living your day-to-day life, and having to deal with that flushing. So depending on how bad it is for your skin as well. And if you're already dealing with cystic acne, that can look even worse. Well, for me, when I tried it, I had like regular good old acne on my cheeks. It was hormonal acne, and I did experience flushing for a longer period of time than I expected. The videos that I had seen on YouTube actually said about 1 month or so, thereabouts. My flushing lasted for about 3 months, so which is why I say it depends on your skin type. So again, you want to ask yourself if you're really ready, because you definitely don't want to jump on the strongest stuff before you've tried all the, worked your way up the ladder basically. You want to start at retinol, see how that works for you. If you're experiencing irritation, then obviously that's probably your level before you think of jumping straight through to tretinoin. There's another thing to consider, which is where you get it from and how much it is. Luckily, we do have a service online called Dermatica. So they are a team of dermatologists, or at least skin experts, who will go through an online consultation with you, which is how I got my tretinoin cream. And all you do is fill in a form. You have to submit pictures of yourself, so you do a front profile, side profile, left and right, and you tell them what you need. You tell them your skin history, your family history, and tell them what you actually want, and then they will also match that to you. They'll give you your own prescription, so it's going to be different for everybody. My prescription was started off as 0.025% tretinoin with 4% niacinamide and 1% clindamycin, which is an antibiotic. And after 2 months, I believe it went from 0.025 to 0.5% tretinoin, and that's what I've stuck to till this day. So yeah, so that's where I get mine from. In the US, I believe you guys have Curology, and they have a similar service. So in terms of how much it is, I think it works out to be about £22, £23 maximum. £2.95 out of that is like postage, and then the other £20 is for the actual prescription itself. And you get a little vial, it's like 15 mls, but you're only supposed to use a pea-size amount for your whole face. And when you're applying it as well, you apply it to your forehead area, skip the whole eye area here, so skip this whole area, down your T-zone, just a thin layer on this side, skip the mouth area, and then skip this immediate area around your mouth. So apply it to your chin, and maybe be careful around your neck, because again, the skin on your neck is quite thin. But yeah, so apply it very thinly in those areas, and avoid the sensitive thin skin areas in your face. So another thing to consider is how you're going to basically deal with the cost in relation to the cost itself, because again, It's not a one-off prescription, so for 20 something pounds, it's going to be 20 something pounds every single month. And for me, what I found was that after say 4 or 5 months, I actually changed my prescription frequency. So the default is every month you're going to get a new prescription in the post. And what you can do is change it from I think anything from 1 month to 1.5 months or something like that to 2 months. The maximum like period you can have between prescriptions is 56 days, which is what I'm actually on right now, because I've actually started reintroducing other products into my skincare, which I'll get to later on. But so I use the Tretinoin less and less, not less and less, I use it for, I space it out within my skincare routine. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So I don't need a monthly prescription because it ends up backing up on you, which has happened to me. Another thing you want to consider is, of course, your skin type. So obviously if you're oily acne prone skin and it's pretty normal, as in terms of, you know, what you can handle, then Tretinoin might be good for you. Of course, you're going to go through your consultation and you're going to tell them what your skin does or what you've taken in the, you know, in the past and all that, and then they'll tell you whether or not you can go for Tretinoin. Obviously, if you have sensitive skin, again, go for your consultation and see what they say, but you'd have to be tread very, very carefully and very lightly, and you might not be able to go further than 0.025 because Tretinoin will put your skin through it basically. But the results in the end will be good. It's just in the beginning it's just going to be a bit rough, and especially if you're starting off with sensitive skin as well, then again, you know, it's a bit more of an uphill battle for you. And of course, if you have normal skin, again, that's up to you to weigh up whether or not how your skin deals with it as well. So the next point I want to talk about is a very important point, and that is your sunscreen usage. You have to up your game in terms of the sunscreen you use and how often you use it, and to make sure you use it every single day, regardless of whether or not you go outside. Because Tretinoin, again, it puts your skin through it. It does make your skin a bit more it just makes it, basically because of the new skin that's coming through, you want to protect it, and you should be using sunscreen anyway. I'm pretty sure you've seen enough videos. If you're watching my video, you're probably interested in skincare and you probably already know you should be using sunscreen. And obviously for people of color, you're not really using sunscreen to not burn per se. You're using it to prevent aging and to prevent free radical damage. You're using it to prevent the breakdown of collagen and elastin in your skin, that don't crack. You need to use sunscreen to make sure that stays intact. So yeah, so that's really what I use sunscreen for. I don't use sunscreen so I don't burn or so I don't tan. I'm not going to burn. I mean, I'm going to have an intense type of sun for me to actually burn. What I use it for is for the longevity, like the future of my skin. So basically think of sunscreen as life insurance for your skin, and you know, the more you use it, the better your result is going to be. You're basically keeping, you know, things like you know, moles, skin cancer, hyperpigmentation, which will get worse if you don't use sunscreen. Things like that are kept at bay because sunscreen will do more for your skin than any other skincare in terms of hyperpigmentation, melasma, things like that, sunspots, all that. Sunscreen will do more for your skin than anything else. So especially now that you're using something as irritating as Tretinoin, you definitely want to make sure you're using sunscreen. So if you're not used to sunscreen, try and find yourself a good sunscreen before you start the Tretinoin. Another thing to consider is what's in your skincare routine. So I'd seen a lot of videos, so I'd already done a lot of prep work, so I already knew that once I started the Tretinoin, I'd have to make sure everything I use in my skincare routine is top notch. And when I say top notch, I mean there can't be any iffy ingredients in there, and most importantly, it needs to be very simple. You see, if you've seen any of my skincare videos, you know that I use a lot of different products. I love like a very comprehensive skincare routine, and they all do things for my skin. So I just like that. I love skincare and I love trying new things. But when you're on Tretinoin, you need to make sure that everything you're using is stripped back and as simple as possible and as unproblematic as possible. So basically you want a boring moisturizer, a boring serum, and a boring cleanser. It's boring as you can possibly get because the Tretinoin is doing all the heavy lifting. It doesn't need any help. It can fight the fight. It can fight the good fight for you basically. So what you need to do is to make sure that your cleanser is I'd say err on the fragrance-free side, because again, when your skin is irritated, when you start flushing, when your skin starts peeling, which it probably will, you don't want to put anything perfumed. That will actually further irritate your skin. So you just want to make sure you have something that's fragrance-free at every step of your skincare routine. So a fragrance-free cleanser, an oil cleanser if you're doing double cleanse, a fragrance-free gel cleanser or a cream cleanser if you've got drier skin, and then follow that with a hydrating toner or an essence. So something that's packed with hyaluronic acid, glycerin, cica, centella, green tea. Green tea is great for calming inflammation. Niacinamide, of course, snail filtrate, things that will add moisture to your skin. So you just want to make sure those things are very, very heavy on your skin, and then top that up with a nice moisturizer. So the two most affordable moisturizers I can recommend are CeraVe's moisturizer and The Ordinary's natural moisturizing factors. You can even mix the two. It's great. And then on top of that, something I've been doing is also to apply Vaseline, yes, Vaseline, on the sensitive areas of my skin, especially if I've applied Tretinoin. If I know I'm going to apply Tretinoin, I apply Vaseline on top of it. Give it a bit of space. I apply some Vaseline, a thin layer on those areas, because what I've been experiencing is drying, some flaky skin, and I thought my skin was Teflon. Basically, my skin could handle anything. So Tretinoin is one product that will humble your skin. If you think your skin can take it, it can't. Okay, so yeah. Last thing in my skincare routine is a bit of Vaseline actually, and I don't do that every day, but I definitely make sure I use a good simple moisturizer, and that's what I was doing for the first 3 to 4 months. I didn't put anything else on my skin. It was just focusing on hydration, and moisturization to make sure that it counteracts the effects of Tretinoin, which is that it dries out your skin. You definitely want to make sure you cut out any treatments, any peels, any acids. All of that is out. So no BHAs, no AHAs. You don't need to do any of that, especially in the first maybe in the first 4 months or so. Just make sure that your skincare is as clean cut and as simple as possible. Once your skin is fully used to the Tretinoin, then you can start alternating the days when you use acids and the days when you use the Tretinoin, which is what I do right now. So yeah, I don't use acids on the same night, by the way. I still alternate. So if I'm going to exfoliate, like use an acid on one night, then I'll use the Tretinoin on another night. So you definitely want to do something like that. You don't want to do the two once your skin is used to it. And the type of cleansers you use as well. So somebody did ask me if you can use a salicylic acid cleanser while using Tretinoin, and I definitely say no, which is what I'm saying. You don't mix the acids with Tretinoin, especially even if it's in a cleanser form. You definitely don't want to do that, because that will be irritating to your skin. And I think those are the points I wanted to talk about. If you can think of anything else, please do leave that in the comment section and share the knowledge as well. So it'd be great to hear what you've tried, or what you're doing, what actual products you're using in your skincare routine. That would be interesting to know. So everything I've mentioned in terms of the products I use anyway, I will leave those in the description box, so you can feel free to click on them. And yeah, so get yourself a skincare routine set up so that when your Dermatica or Curology prescription arrives, you are ready, and you're basically ready to go. If you like this video, if you learned anything, please do give it a massive thumbs up. Share with your friends, family, and any loved ones that you think could benefit from this. And also consider subscribing if you feel like you want to see more videos from me. Please do hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you don't miss when I do upload. If you subscribe, you just be a subscriber, whereas if you hit the notification bell, then you actually get notified when I post next. So yeah, so that's everything I wanted to share. Hope you have a blessed morning, afternoon, evening, or night, wherever you are, and I will catch you in my next video. Stay blessed. Bye.